Hey, how's it going? I'm casting director Sarah Clark. So I've been a casting director for the last uh, 6 years, but I have been in casting for 10 years. I came from a much smaller market and then moved to Chicago and swore up and down I would never cast again. And I was a producer in an ad agency for several years and was very lucky to receive an Emmy nomination for my work and really missed casting. And so I opened Compass Casting in 2013 and have been a casting director ever since. It's always been my bread and butter. It's what I'm good at, from finding talent for commercials, national or local, or narrative films, or video games, print, whatever. I love being able to find productions that really value good talent, and being able to advocate for talent and for agencies has always been something that I'm really passionate about. The casting process is kind of sticky, but it's also the most exciting part of filmmaking when it comes to pre-production, I think, because it's the first time that a script really comes to life. You know, you get actors who are in the room really living and breathing into these lines that were just black ink on a white page for the longest time. So casting can be very, very exciting, and the process really depends on who's calling, right? So sometimes for commercials, it's really fast and they just need headshots and it doesn't really matter as long as they're brunette. And then other times for like narrative features, it's very specific. So from a commercial standpoint, usually a production company or a producer will get in touch with me and say, this is the product, these are the rates and the dates, here's what we need. And then I will release that to agents. They'll send me anybody and everybody who's remotely close to that for commercial, because, you know, at the end of the day, the clients will know when we see it. They just need a lot of options. We hold auditions, clients pick them. Done and dusted. For narrative, it's a lot more specific, right? So for narrative, think like feature films, what you go and see in the movies, when you go to the movies, or TV shows or web series or anything like that. The specificity, because there's, not going to just be the role of brunette. We need an old man with a peg leg and a squinty eye, right? It's a lot more specific. So we release very specific breakdowns to those agents. We get much fewer submissions, and then we bring those auditions in, send all of the footage to the clients. We'll have callbacks with the clients. The clients go through everybody that we've seen. And then usually what we'll do is make recommendations on, here's who we feel like fits the role the best based on what you've told us. From there, they pick the talent and we book them. So you'll notice at no point did I say that a casting director picks who the end talent is. We just book you, right? We're sort of like fishing guides, right? Like, we can take you to the best waters, but at the end of the day, it's your job to catch the right fish. So that's part of the reason that I named it Compass Casting. I'm just here to point you in the right direction. So for the casting process, it really depends on what it is people are doing. And a lot of our approaches will change time by time. So project by project, we really make sure that we tailor our approach based on what fits in with our client's timeline and budget, but also at the end of the day, what's going to bring together the best cast. Something that I look for in all of my auditions, whether it's commercials or narrative, no matter what it is, it's making sure that the actors are presenting themselves as professionally as they'd like to be treated, right? So sometimes for, an under 5 is a character that has under 5 lines. So if that's like the pizza delivery guy whose job in that scene is to interrupt the scene, right? His job is not to have a big backstory and I don't need to know about his inner child. It's there to say who ordered the pizza in the middle of a very emotionally charged scene, right? So in that actor's scenario, I need you to come in, do the job, make sure that your tools, headshot, resume, demo reel, websites, all of those things are done ahead of time. Heads up, if they're not, you probably won't even get into the room. But once you are in the room, come in and do the job, right? I don't need you to do more than that. If my dentist said, I'm a dentist, also I do roofing, I'm like, I don't need that job done right now, I just need you to look at my teeth, right? The same thing goes for actors. If you're trying to do a bunch of different jobs and I just need this one thing, it's not helpful, right? So for those under 5 roles, making sure that they are not doing more than they need to so that it doesn't get too complicated. But then for the roles that really require a lot of depth and a lot of character development, I'm really expecting actors to come in with choices made. And I think that a lot of actors see it as like, I have to make the right choice. At the end of the day, I need you to make a choice. If I see that you are committing to character, your lines are memorized as much as possible, which, it's especially in a city like Chicago where there's a ton of commercials, loads of theater, so much improv, and then lots of film. Yes, you're going to have days where you can't memorize everything. So as close as possible, but also making really strong character choices. what makes the most sense based on the text, what makes the most sense within the scene, within this character relationship. So if you don't know how to do that, you've wasted my audition slot. And when I can see so few people in a day, those audition slots are precious. So making sure that you, as much as possible, are off book, and that you're making really smart character choices is primo auditioning. As far as, what I like and what stands out, honestly, it's not standing out. The people who come in and they're like, I'm going to do something wacky. It's like, again, if my dentist was like, I'm going to do something wacky, I'd be like, I don't want that or need that, right? I want you to come in and do the job. So if the job is that you're going to come in, yesterday we had 1-minute monologues for one of the roles, and then in the other role we had 3 pages of dialogue, right? So come in and do that job and do it well. From a casting perspective, you're creating a relationship of trust with me. So if you come in and you do your job well, I know I can bring you in for other roles. If you come in and you do something wacky, I can't trust you, right? So making sure that lines are memorized, you're making character choices, and you come in and do the job. Those are really the 3 things that I'm looking for. Yes, that means that it changes every single time. My approach changes every single time, clients change every single time, the script changes every single time, and actors have to adjust as well. I think the thing that I value most is hard work, but making sure that that hard work is smart work. I own 3 businesses, and it wouldn't make any sense to just hustle and jump over things as they come towards me. I think solving the bigger problems and making sure that you are working hard, but making sure that none of that hard effort is being wasted. I think that there's a big, especially in America, I think there's a really big misconception that like hustle and being exhausted all the time is some sort of status symbol. And I hustle hard, but I always want to make sure that all of my energy, because I don't have any of it to waste, is spent in a really smart way. So if you're just solving all the little problems that could be solved by fixing one big problem, I think it's a lot smarter to solve that one big problem so that all of your hard work is fruitful.